Hey everybody, and welcome to The Void. We are a show dedicated to filling the void between being an employee and becoming self-employed, between working for somebody else and working for yourself. I'm your host, Mitch Smedley, and I recently made that same switch myself. After working in the plumbing industry for about 20 years, I finally decided it was time to start my own company. Most people refer to starting your own company as taking the leap, as if they're blindly jumping off a cliff and into the unknown. Doesn't have to be that way. We're here to show you that it can be as easy as just taking a few carefully planned steps. I'm going to share with you a lot of the experiences I went through on starting my own company, and we're going to also work through together some of the common and core adversities that you'll need to go through in order to start your own companies. With me today is David. David has also been self-employed for a few years, but his story is a little bit different than mine.
Yeah, a lot different. I jumped right in, didn't know what I was doing, where I was going, how I was going to get there. I just knew that working for somebody else was not for me.
Right.
No
Right.
flexibility. You're a slave to someone else all the time.
Right.
Their jobs, their hours. I want to do this. I just knew there was something better.
Right.
And I just, I'm more of a fly by the seat of my pants.
Right.
As far as the company goes now, I plan.
Right.
But, I will get up, I'll go get a job, I'll do that job.
Right.
I will jump in, I will get it done.
Right.
You stayed in the business for a lot longer than I did. Not that that's a bad thing.
Nope.
You gained a ton of experience. Granted, I wanted to be a one-man show. You wanted to have employees. You want to be a lot bigger than I wanted to be. That's what makes our goals and our journey different.
Right.
Right. You stayed, and those experiences that you gained with, and I want you to talk about marketing,
Yeah.
Percentages,
Yep.
how to deal with more than 4 or 5 employees.
Yep.
That's a whole nother level than being a one-man show.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a whole bunch of different levels to self-employment. You can be a one-man show, or you can be building a business that that has a lot of employees, and so that's part of why we're here. Is everyone's story is a little bit different, and everyone's path to success is a little bit different, and there are a ton of pathways to success. There's no right one either. There's a lot of right ones, and the only wrong path to success is one where you don't plan and you don't prepare, and you don't have the ability to think on your feet. You started off with a lot less planning and a lot less preparation. However, you are very good at thinking on your feet, and that's what led to your success.
Yeah, exactly. And you can, some people can do that. Some people can't. The real reason for a lot of the podcasts is a lot of people won't get into business because they're afraid.
Yeah.
And they're afraid because they're not prepared.
Yep.
They don't have the steps. No one's ever showed them. I didn't know.
Right.
There was no YouTube channel for me to go to and say, oh, hey, this is what you need to do.
Right.
And if you look at them now, they're just trying to sell you a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
Basically, they're like, hey, no, you need to buy my 27-step guide on,
Right.
how to be a salesman.
Yep.
And do this. And you've not simplified it. You've made it more simple with some of these easy steps.
Yeah. So we're going to put together, we'll soon be dropping a bank of core episodes, and those core episodes are going to give you a ton of tools and advice that you're going to need to start your own service-related company. These are some things that you're going to need to consider before pursuing self-employment, and all of the topics that we're going to be discussing in these core episodes are really different areas of adversity that you will need to face in order to be successful. Overcoming those adversities create the strength and resilience you're going to need to be seen on the successful side of self-employment. So we've put together those 6 different areas of adversity you're going to need to overcome, and we've compiled all of those in a nice bank of episodes, and we're going to soon release those all at once so you can watch them at your leisure. If you want to binge watch or binge listen, you can. Or if you just want to take your time and work through them, you can as well.
Yeah. Some of them are going to be longer.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to be a little slow.
Yep.
Those are things you need to make it happen.
Yeah, some of the and that's a testament to preparation too. Is some of the preparation for self-employment is longer and slower.
Yeah.
And it gets exciting once you finally make that transition. Yeah. But there are some of the steps like financial preparation and stuff like that can sometimes take a while.
Yeah, and you don't just wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm in business.
Right.
I mean, you can.
Yeah.
Your odds for success are low.
Yeah, real low.
Really low.
Yep.
But, if you put the time in to do your research, listen to this show, and you are prepared to take those steps, I mean, your odds of success they're astronomical. They're great. They are great.
Yep.
You can do it.
And so while we're talking about that, let's talk about who is this show for. This show is going to be geared for anybody interested in starting their own service-related company. And what we mean by service-related is we're not talking about engineers or attorneys or doctors or anything like that. We're talking about people that are doing a skill, sometimes with their hands. They're doing a service-related skill day in and day out. And if you are doing that for an employer and you are kicking ass at your job every day and you think one day you want to own your own company, this show is for you.
Exactly.
Could be a plumber, an electrician, it could be a hairstylist, could be a tile setter.
Lawnmower.
It could be anything in the construction industry for sure, but it doesn't even have to be that. I mean, it could be somebody who's cleaning houses or a roofer, or it could be a videographer or somebody who's creating websites or anything like that. All of the tools that we're talking about in this show will apply universally across the board.
Yeah, they really will. And if you're thinking, okay, so as a plumber, I need a building, I need this. No, you don't.
Right.
You can work out of a truck. You can work out of your house.
Yep.
Okay, you don't need all those things to be great. You need to be great at your job.
Exactly.
That's what you need to be great at.
And we're going to talk about like pieces of that, like the building versus no building and things like that are going to come into play on like the bare minimum you need in order to be successful without being too skimpy, because then you won't be successful.
Yeah.
So, who is this show not for? This show is not an entrepreneur show. We're a self-employment show, and there's a big difference. The difference between an entrepreneur and a self-employed person is risk. Entrepreneurs take on great risk in what they're doing. A lot of what they're doing is revolutionary. It is industry leading type innovation type stuff, and they're literally creating things that weren't there before. This show is more for self-employment. There's tons of plumbing companies out there. You may just want to start your own. There's tons of hair salons out there. You may just want to start your own. So self-employed people aren't necessarily reinventing the wheel. They're just hanging out their shingle and staking their claim.
They're taking control of the wheel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're going to take a little bit more control.
I'm going to do it. I know I can do it. I've been doing this for a long time.
Yep.
Now, I mean, self-employment isn't for everybody.
Right.
Let's be honest. You got to be a go-getter.
Yep.
But if you are a go-getter and you want to go get it, you're afraid to do that.
Right.
Because you aren't prepared.
Yep.
And we're preparing you with simple steps that'll get you there.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of the reason you aren't prepared is because you've been lied to your whole life. You've been lied to about how risky owning your own business is.
Yeah, definitely.
And so we're here to dispel a lot of those lies. Most likely the person that's been lying to you is your boss. And it's because he doesn't want to see you leave. So he's going to lie to you about how difficult it is to start. He's going to lie to you about how many hours you have to work every week just to make your ends meet and just to pay the mortgage, and how risky it was. And he'll probably say something like he almost lost everything early on.
Yeah.
And I mean, for all we know, maybe some of that is true. And if that's true, well, then he just had a really difficult start in business. But it doesn't have to be that way. And that chances are he did not start with understanding these core adversities that we're going to discuss. But the reason they're lying to you is because you are bringing a lot of value to them and they don't want to see you leave.
They see your rock star status in their company, and they know. And they're not necessarily threatened by it, but they know, hey, I'm going to have a void here. Mm-hmm. If this guy goes out and, does his own thing, I'm going to have to fill his shoes with two guys.
Right.
Right. It just, don't be afraid.
Yeah.
That's really...
Yeah,
really
and we'll talk about how to separate yourself from your employer as you get closer to making that step.
Yeah.
So Another group of people that might be lying to you through this are actually your friends and family. Theirs is a little bit different, though. Theirs is going to come from like a place of ignorance and a place of love. They want to see you successful. They want to see you do well, and they don't want to see you struggle. And so their lies are usually going to be some kind of regurgitation of what they've been told throughout their lives. So it'll be something like, but your job pays you really well and they always take care of you, or they have really good benefits, and aren't they providing you insurance and all of this? And they don't understand that they're actually kind of holding you back when they say that, because again, theirs is out of compassion and ignorance. So as you get closer into that journey, you're going to hear your friends and family say that, and you just have to, like, when you're hearing them say that, you actually have to use that as a little bit of motivation, because that means you're getting close. That means you're getting there.
And it can put a chip on your shoulder too.
Yeah.
And chips are good.
Yeah.
Have a little something. Hey, you know what? I'm going to show you something here.
Right.
Let me show you.
So we'll talk about how to overcome a lot of that and how to actually use that to energize you and get you propelled further in the right direction.
And like you were saying, it's not always about, they're not putting you down on purpose.
Right.
They really may not want to see you do it because they're afraid that if you fail, it's going to hurt you.
Yeah. Yeah. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt. And so they're going to prevent you from failure just to see you stay safe.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, that's how we learn these days. So
yeah, it is.
Failure's kind of important. So you guys might be asking why we're doing this and how are we qualified to be doing this for you. So we'll give you a real fast, high-level overview of what we've done that qualifies to us to help you out. We are currently 2 successfully self-employed people. That's it.
Yeah.
That right there
Regular
is
guys,
all that it takes to qualify us to help you. Now, why us versus anybody else? And this really adds to the qualification. Because a lot of the other people that are doing shows like this are too successful.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say too successful like it's...
There's no such thing as too successful.
They're too successful for their information to resonate with you.
Yeah. They're making so much money, and they're at this level, but you have to start here.
Right.
I mean, if you don't come from money and your family doesn't come from money, you're starting down here. Yep. That's where we're at.
Yeah, if you're currently living paycheck to paycheck, or maybe you got a month or two of savings in the bank, or maybe even just a little bit more, you have a hard time taking advice from somebody who's a millionaire or who's a billionaire, and they're trying to preach at you as if they're remembering their day one in business, and that's tough.
Yeah.
And a lot of their information is phenomenal. However, the disparity between their level and your level is so great, most of their information just goes right over your head.
Yeah. It's hard to take yourself back, even 2 years ago for some people, let alone 15 or 10, and forget, oh, hey, I forgot that I had this money from X, and it helped me to get here.
Right.
This is just real life stuff that anybody can do. All you have to do is plan, prepare, and have the stones to go get it.
And so there's a ton of people out there that are gurus at helping take your existing business to the next level.
And some good ones. There are some really good ones out there.
Right.
Especially, if you're turning $3 million a year, there are some podcasts for you to, how do I get to the next level?
Right. If you're turning 3 and you want to go to 5, there's a guy out there for you.
And like you said before, now you may be getting into entrepreneurship at that point. When you're turning that many dollars, I want to dabble in this. I want to dabble in this. But that's not really what this is.
Right. The mindset's a little bit different between somebody who's currently an employee to switch into self-employment and then somebody who's self-employed that's wanting to kind of go into the entrepreneur space.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
You're not going to be drugged from employee to entrepreneur very easily. You're going to have to kind of go through that self-employed side first, and that's where we're at.
And that's getting your feet wet too.
Yeah.
Once you have your LLC, S corp, which we will talk about all of that stuff.
Yep.
Then you can make those jumps. Yep. This is for that. Hey, where do I get started?
Yeah.
What do I do to just to get my foot in the door? To be on my own.
Yep.
There's
tons of people that'll help you take your business to the next level. We are here to help you bring your business into existence. So that's kind of the core purpose of the show. Throughout your life, if you look back at who's inspired you the most, it's not millionaires. It's not billionaires. It's not worldly famous entrepreneurs. It's not internet moguls or Instagram influencers with millions of followers. You're most inspired by people who direct and invest their time and energy directly into you and help you move one level at a time.
Yeah.
And that's what this show is going to do, is it's going to move you one level at a time. So you're not going to be getting little quotes from some Instagram person that's supposed to be inspirational, but who even really knows what it means?
Who knows?
We're going to be very similar to like your sports coaches and your school teachers and your parents, that we're going to be able to walk with you through all of those challenges, one challenge at a time. We're going to give you the advice that's specific to your needs and help you move up one level.
Yeah. We talked about that earlier.
Yep.
And Marcus had given a good example of his father, or grandfather, right?
Right.
Grandfather being a hard worker, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Hello, everyone.
Why don't you just share? This is Marcus. He's our producer.
Yeah, Marcus is our producer.
He's
here.
the smartest guy on the show. He really is a bright young man. Just share with us a little bit what you said earlier.
Well, I mean, just as a young kid watching him, like put all the hard work in.
Yeah.
Not just throw it all out there. He's like actually
showing,
giving a shit.
Yeah, doing it, doing the work, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And we were talking about that earlier. Just about the example of hard work,
right?
And there are those people around that they're really making a difference, and you can be one of those people. Start a business, work hard,
right?
Be an example for somebody,
right? And what everybody needs to take from that is the people that have influenced you or anybody else the most have had a personal nature to you. They've worked on your level. It's not somebody that's way out of touch.
Right.
Yeah. It's somebody that's right with you and help it, literally giving you a hand up.
Right. Yeah.
So for Marcus, that was his grandfather. We've all got people in our lives that was that way. So
yeah, we don't need a million examples. I thought that was a great one.
Right.
Right. Hard work, dedication.
Yep.
And that's really what the small business is about.
Yeah.
It's hard work, it's dedication, it's family first.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Get those things done.
Yep.
Be an example.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just get out there and do it.
The purpose of this podcast is the fact that we are much closer to that transition than a lot of the other people out there. And so our message should land a little bit easier on you and be a little bit easier for you to take in. The show format from here forward. So this is kind of a teaser show just to kind of let you know how everything's going to play out. So here in the next few weeks, we're going to drop 10 or 12 episodes that are going to be our core episodes that are going to cover those core adversities you need to face in order to be successful. And we're often going to refer back to these. So we get 10 or 20 episodes in, and we're going to be able to refer you back to these. So it'll be something that we're always reminding you that, hey, if you're new to the show, go back and watch episodes 1 through whatever in order to get up to speed. And then you can jump right back up to where you were.
If we're talking and, LLC comes up, 15 episodes from now, we'll be able to go back and say, hey, episode 7,
right.
Halfway through the show, we break down exactly how you can do it, it not cost you a lot of money,
right.
And then you're covered.
Right. And the topics we're going to cover, everything, LLC, S Corp, insurance, 401k, budgeting, planning, financing, the whole 9 yards. We're going to cover everything. And not only are we going to cover some basic topics, but we're also going to go over like what we did and how we did it. And so that way you get some real life examples, not only just kind of the theory of it as well.
Yeah. And you say all that stuff and you list all that stuff off and people are like, oh man, that's so much stuff.
It's not.
It's not that much stuff.
It's really
And
not.
we're going to break it down really slow.
Yep.
Step by step. If you do A through Z, you're good to go.
Right.
I feel like they're actually going to be like, oh man, I need more. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, like let's. I don't know how long these core episodes are going to be yet, but let's say they were each an hour long, and there's 12 of them. So with 12 hours of listening, you would have all of the information you need to start your own business.
Yeah, and that that sounds like a lot, but how many times are you at soccer practice?
That's less than 2 days at work.
Yeah, you're at soccer practice, you got nothing to do.
Right.
You're sitting there watching little kids run around, kicking balls, falling on their face, crying, whining, complaining. All you got to do is sit there, just click it on. If you can't watch it on your phone, you can listen on your phone.
Right.
I mean, you don't want to talk to those other parents anyway.
Right.
I mean, there's like 2 of them you like. The rest of them,
Yep.
You know.
I know for me,
Put them in, turn it on.
I do a lot of podcasting, driving from one job to the other, or if I'm working out or whatever the case may be.
Wait for the kid to get off the bus.
Yep.
All those little, and if you're serious about it, you're going to put the time in no matter what.
Yep.
And it's going to be worth the listen to pick that information up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So once we get past those core episodes, that core bank, then the format will transition just a little bit, and we're going to flip to about 2 shows a week. One will be a question and answer show where you guys will be able to email in questions, and we'll answer them right here on the show and kind of go over your specific questions that are specific to your individual adversities. And then the other show, or the other format, is we're going to be bringing on some guests that are fairly new into their self-employment journey, but that are in greatly different fields than we're in, so we can dive in and discuss the struggles that they faced and how they overcame those to help inspire and encourage you guys to do it as well.
Yeah, sharing stories.
Yeah.
Hey, I did this. I had trouble at my bank getting credit to do X.
Right.
And then you and I, maybe we didn't think about that.
Right.
And they have a great example of how to get through that, how to overcome that. This is what I did.
Right.
It really wasn't a big deal at the time. Did it seem like it? Yeah. Did I think I was in trouble? Oh, man.
Right.
But I got through it, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have a wide range of people that we're bringing on as guests. So that's pretty much it for the format of the show and what you guys are getting ready to sign up to. So we are going to be pushing this show pretty heavily through Facebook. And the main reason why we're choosing Facebook over a lot of the other platforms, and we'll be on the other platforms too, but Facebook has a lot of Facebook groups, right? So if you're a plumber, there's plumber Facebook groups. If you're
HVAC tech group.
Yeah, hairstylist, tile set, lawn mowing, like anything you name, there's literally a group for anything out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And so one of the things that we'll be asking you guys for is to help us share the show and get this message out to a lot of people. And the best way to do that is by dropping links to the show or tagging the show in those Facebook groups, because those Facebook groups are begging for this kind of information every day.
Yeah, I've seen it. I mean, I've seen it you go on the HVAC forum.
Yep.
And I'll go through there, say I can't figure out why this igniter's not working.
Right.
I mean, just as an example.
Yep.
There's 4 or 5 different deals, and there's always a new guy on there. Hey, I don't know if I'm in the right section, but I'm trying to start out my business, and I don't know what to do about an LLC. Can someone point me in the right direction?
Right.
You could literally tag and post our deal with the very beginning on how to get your LLC in episode 6.
Yep. And
whatever, and it's right there.
Yeah.
Hey, this is how you do it. It's easy. It's pinpoint. Done.
Right. Yep.
You know how to do it.
So the show name is The Void, and our tag on Facebook is going to be at The Void. Actually,
do you know what it is?
I'll have to look it up.
You know what? You look it up. It's okay. You can take the extra 10 seconds.
Let me look it up.
It doesn't bother me so much that you don't know what you're talking about, but Marcus, the producer, right now is like...
It's going to bug him.
His pants are on fire. He is like...
That's how real we are here.
Yeah. What did I do? I don't know what to do. Yeah, no.
We're going to get it together.
No, it's going to be fine.
All right. So the show is called The Void, obviously, and our Facebook tag is at Podcast The Void. So obviously The Void.
At Podcast The Void. Is it The Void all one word, or is it?
Podcast The Void, all run together.
Okay.
So
we'll have it tagged on the video as well.
Yeah, we'll have it tagged on the video.
For sure.
And then feel free to find us on Facebook and give us a like and give us a follow, because that's also where you're going to be able to see where these episodes are going to drop.
And when,
so
it's
going to be
we have a timeline,
early mid-January, somewhere in there.
Right.
And we're going to be pushing these out on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. So as we
love me some YouTube,
as we
man.
shore up those channels a little bit more, we'll be able to give you a little bit more info there. But for right now, again, kind of the main jump off channel is going to be at Podcast The Void on Facebook.
Love it.
Feel free to give us a like and give us a follow and share the show with anybody.
I'm so excited to get this information out there.
Yeah,
I wish
well needed, man.
that there was something out there when I started.
Yeah.
I mean, there just wasn't a lot of stuff. Granted, the internet wasn't as prolific. I mean, it was.
Right.
But, smartphones were, barely coming out. And
Right.
Yeah.
just, it makes it a lot easier. You go through the steps and you struggle for 6 months, and you could have learned all of that in a few hours.
In a 1 hour video.
And you're like,
oh my
dude,
gosh. Right.
how, what?
Right. Right.
And I could have saved myself, money,
Yeah.
heartache,
And the best part of all this
anxiety.
Right.
is we're doing this for free.
Lumps on your head.
Yeah, it's for free.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hey, we went through the struggles. We're gonna share it with you.
Yep.
Watch it, figure it out, be on your own, be successful.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. We feel like we got a pretty good message and we want to get it out
Yeah.
there. So,
Be successful. That's all there is.
all right. Well, that's pretty much everything for today, guys. Again, at Podcast The Void on Facebook. And give us a like, give us a follow, and share that with anybody that you think might need it.
Love it.
Until then, we'll catch up with you later.